Good morning, all of you. Come back to our technical communication, Unit 4. In this fourth unit, we have been discussing energy solutions, and among the three topics given for us for our reading skills development, the first one has been discussed in the previous class, In Search of Energy Solutions by Nandan Nilekani. Now, let us look at our second topic, wind energy, and the third topic would be discussed in the next session. Okay, now see this wind energy, it is an excerpt that is the important information taken from Tilak and Ghosh's Renewable Energy Resources. This is the original work, and from which this particular passage has been extracted. It is a combination of various extracts from the wind energy related chapters of this book. Okay, as I suggested you in the previous session, if you do not read the text in our mindscapes, this would be a simple content you listen to from me, but my suggestion is you first read the given passage in the textbook, wind energy, and try to understand or try to answer the comprehension questions given at the end, and then you listen to me. You can understand what advantage and what skill that you have focused and what benefit that you have got from this reading passage. Okay, now let me summarize this, and this summary is only beneficial to you after you are reading. Otherwise, this is only a piece of information that I am giving you, but it is not extensive. Your reading is extensive. Once again, I remind you. Okay, now come back to this. The main topics discussed by the authors in this wind energy is, in this chapter or in this topic is, a few points have been mentioned here. Historical development has been given in the introductory part of this passage. Historical development means wind energy is not a new concept. It was age-old, ancient concept. Wind has been used as a source of energy by the ancient people, and they tried to make use of that gust of wind, flow of wind, for various things. And in the olden days, people tried to grain, that is to separate various dough and other things from the seeds and other things that they have used this, and to extract water, pull water from the wells. They have used big fans and big wheels, so as for the wind power they move and extract water from the canals or from the wells. And in naval, people used mast. The big ships have got structure, bamboo structure or wooden structures with mast, M-A-S-T, mast. That's what Tarachapalu, and such a type of mast has been used for navigation, for transportation. Very big ships have also moved for the wind power. And here, historical development for pulling water and for propel ships, wind energy has been used. And now, this wind energy is turned to be mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy to be turned for moving generators for producing electricity. So, convert kinetic energy and that to be convert into mechanical energy, and that produces electricity. As the fundamental concept that we are discussing in this unit is that we require energy in the form of electricity. And now, it is important, the wind energy has gained importance due to depletion of conventional energy resources. Non-renewable resources as we discussed earlier, that fossil fuels, crude oil, that is, and coal, these are all gradually being depleted and dried up. That's why, what are the other sources? We started looking for alternatives, and wind energy has come once again onto the scene. And green power, wind energy is a green power technology. In the first passage we discussed economy, consumption growth, balancing the environmental requirements. So power should be used less or should be used more. Which one is our choice? But both should be balanced by not harming the environment. And in that alternative source, wind energy seems to be a green technology, that by using wind energy we are not going to cause any damage to the environment, and it is environmental friendly. Now this fall and rise of wind energy, 3500 BC Egyptians have a certain what we can say evidences that they have used wind energy in their lives, and everywhere all over the world that people have used it. And up to 19th century that people largely depended on this free energy resource and tried to design certain mechanical or wheels or certain machinery to make use of wind energy. And after that we started making use of fossil fuels, extracting fossil fuels, and that's why wind energy has been neglected from the beginning of 19th century till 1970s. And during that time there weren't much research and development, there was no focus on using wind energy, that is how to tap wind resources. But once when this depletion has started, starting from 1970s onwards, many countries have started focus on how to make use of this wind resource. That's why the fall of significance, rise of significance, both were seen within 1 century. Means the fossil fuels attraction and its dry up both are happening within a century or 2 centuries. Next, this contributed, this early focus, whoever are visionaries, that means a forthcoming, there is going to be a greater need, or we are going to face a trouble in future, how to get ready for it. And those countries which have such vision have made use of this opportunity, and countries like Netherlands, Denmark, USA, these countries have focused early, designed certain machines or generators, and they already used them in their countries, and at the same time they marketed commercially, sold their devices to the other countries and have become rich and more money. And in this passage the authors have explained us, there is a technical English communication, and technically he tried to explain what are the devices that are used to tap wind energy, that is wind to be converted into electrical energy. How it has happened? The turbine types and the terminologies have been used, vertical, horizontal, that's something he has mentioned, and wind electricity generators, 3 types of generators to produce electricity, and those generators are moved with the wind energy, and 4 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt, 300 kilowatt are the 3 categories of generators. Up to 4 kilowatt, up to 100 kilowatt, up to 300 kilowatt generators have been explained in this passage. This is a technical information you can read. And most popular aero generators, what are being widely used in the world, he has also explained in this reading passage. And here you can see the models, but these pictures are not there in this in the text, but I have provided this in the video lecture. The reason is for better understanding of that explanation of aero generators. And these are all, this is a horizontal generator type, where the fans move the generator, and the generator is set up on the top of a tall tower. So entire equipment has been set up on the top of the tower, which is very expensive, which is very heavy. Tons of load has been onto the top, and electricity is generated there and then, and will be produced through wires. And during the time of gusts of wind, cyclones, there would be certain danger for this type of horizontal type of generators, horizontal axis. The reason is the entire generator is on the top of the tower, and which is very expensive. And though it is expensive, but the vertical type of axis, generator axis, and the fans would move like blades, and this is a new device, and they rotate, and when they rotate through bearings or through wheels, that the energy, the axis is vertical and comes that energy to be turned into mechanical energy, and these wheels would turn and connect it to the generator. These two types of aero generators have been explained in our passage. So technically, three things they have mentioned in this particular passage. One is about the turbines used and electrical generator types, and then the axis types, horizontal axis generators and vertical axis generators are mentioned in this passage. Next, now to discuss the possibilities of setting up this type of wind energy resources, he has mentioned limitations of wind energy. What are the limitations of wind energy? Solar energy, during daytime we get the rays of the sun, heat of the sun, light of the sun, and during night time you cannot produce electricity. So that is a limitation for solar energy. Similarly, are there any limitations for wind energy? The flow of wind, will it be the same all through? No. So that's why when we depend on this natural resource like solar energy or wind energy, even though we set up an equipment, there is no assurance that this equipment will work 24 hours or will work every day. Sometimes during some seasons we observe that there won't be any flow of wind, and on the day there won't be any movement of these fans and the blades. So this is intermittent and diffuse. This is not constant. And when will it move, it work, and when will it stop working, we can't guess. In the sense, it is not mechanical fault, but the resource will not be available. On a rainy day, we do not get sun rays. Similarly, on a rainy day or during the cyclone, we get more flow of wind, but that sometimes may be useful, sometimes may be damaging. And one more problem would be that we require electricity during peak hours. What do we mean by peak hours? That during evening time or the morning 6 to 8, during that time, more machinery, more equipment, more lights would be switched on, and that is why we require more electricity. At the time, through thermal power or to nuclear power, when more demand would be there, they burn more coal, they use more fusion in the nuclear reactors, and they get more electricity. They will be able to produce more electricity, but this is not possible with at present with this type of technology, when more demand is there, but we cannot produce more electricity. So certain limitations would be there with the wind energy, and it is a localized concept. Localized concept means this is related to certain regions. Hilly areas, mountain regions will have more electricity. Even solar energy, we can't say that it is universal, but coal, nuclear power, wherever that you set up a nuclear power plant, you produce electricity there. Whether it may be in the cold region, hot region, temperate region, whatever it might be. But whereas windmills and these generators can't be set up at every place. That certain regions are renowned for more gusts of wind, flow of wind, and in certain regions only that you will be able to produce. And power fluctuations due to magnitude or velocity of the flow of the wind, and at what speed that the wind is flowing. Sometimes when it is totally suffocating, and when there is summer season, we require AC, we require fan. But at the time there won't be any flow of wind even to produce wind electricity. So these are the limitations here. Next, heavy gust and cyclone storms is some limitation, damage to this one. And how to overcome this? There are certain resources available, but certain problems, hurdles are also there, and we need to think of a way of overcoming this one. So they suggest that these are all engineering opportunities. When mankind require some machinery, some equipment, some comfort, and when they are facing some problem, that problem is an opportunity for an engineer to invent something new. As Denmark, Netherlands, those countries have utilized this opportunity to produce early machinery, but still this early or first generation machinery may not be solving all our problems. That's why we should be able to produce more equipment, new equipment, and we have to make use of this opportunity. Research and development is required for new devices to be find out. Okay, these are the main points from the topic wind energy from our 4th unit. Now look at our language work. Comprehension, understanding of the given passage. When can we check, or how can we check whether we understood it properly or not? When we have certain questions, comprehension check questions, and these questions, answering these questions will confirm whether we understood it properly or not. Now, as our reading skills, reading for factual information, extrapolation, and author stance are the 3 major points in this, major sub-skills in this unit. Now let us see. These are the 5 questions based on this reading passage, and these 5 questions are majorly focusing on finding factual information from the passage. Describing how wind energy is produced. So, in this technical passage, the authors have explained the process of turning wind energy into electrical energy, and that process you read and try to explain or demonstrate and write in your own words for this question. Next, why did wind energy utilization decline even though it was in use for thousands of years? So it was mentioned in the passage. The reason is that fossil fuels have been found and they have started using it. They have been using the fossil fuels for all types of requirements. That's why wind energy is ignored. And you explain this in your own words, but this answer is available in the text. This is only a factual information. Next, what are the reasons for its revival in the last 3? This is also a factual question. You can find it. I should not answer. Better if I answer, you follow me. But if you read, you will have your own ideas, your own creativity in producing your ideas. But this answer is also available in the passage. Find it out. Next, mention the 3 different modes through which wind generation electricity is put to use. In which way that we use this wind generated electricity is explained in the passage. That's why I mentioned that these questions are focusing on finding the factual information from the text. Next, list the advantages and disadvantages of wind energy. So to list it, you have to extract main points from the passage and you put them as one list. These are the advantages, these are the disadvantages. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So are the advantages more or disadvantages more? You have to measure. Measuring means evaluation. So you assess both advantages and disadvantages and you try to explain your opinion, whether you feel that there are more advantages for wind energy or more disadvantages for wind energy. So this would be analyzing and evaluating the information. So you acquire a particular skill. Next, in the light of current research and development, do you foresee a time when wind energy would emerge as most significant form of energy? This is a purely extrapolation question, in the sense that you have to make your educated guess, anticipation. You have read this entire passage, and with this information, do you think that in future this wind energy is going to be or turning out to be a very significant one or less significant one? What do you feel? And that is, you evaluate and you make a guess. And the last question here is, how can generation and distribution of wind energy becomes more localized concept? Information has been presented in the passage to cater to the needs of the people living in a particular area. So what do we mean by localized concept? You explain, you elaborate, and technical information has been presented in this passage. As an engineer, you are expected to understand that one, and with that understanding, you are expected to predict and to demonstrate. So this type of skills, if you acquire, you will be able to make presentations technically. So this passage, reading of this passage will help you to enrich you from different angles of different dimensions of understanding and presentations. Okay, and this is the end of second reading passage, energy, wind energy, and we will move on to the third one, which is related to nuclear energy in our next session. Thank you.